So I've had time to do a little thinking and a little planning on how I want to redesign this pig pen. I come up with, I'm going to need about 3 more cattle panels so I can replace all the existing hog panels. Can't do that right at the moment, so I believe what I'm going to do today is make that new hog slop feeder. Had that on my mind for a while. One thing that I've learned with this last experience of raising hogs is you don't want to get too many hogs in one pen. I had 3 in here. I guess it was a little bit small for them. They were quite destructive. Got some damage that I need to repair, and from here on out, at least as far as this pen is concerned, I'll raise a maximum of 2 in here. For y'all that's been following along, you know this is the Old Faithful, the old hog slop trough that I've always used in the past. I didn't like it because of course the rain would get in it, snow would get in it, pigs would lay down in it. Constantly had to clean it out before I slopped the pigs. Plus these last 3, they got rather aggressive and they was fighting over the food, headbutting each other. So I came up with a 3-hole hog slop feeder. It worked really well. They were able to get in there and feed. They didn't bother each other. They were too worried about eating, I guess, but they quickly outgrew that and they wasn't able to get their heads in it. One thing I really did like about it is from the top, put a no hinge on here and cut a hole out so I could drop the food in. So it worked out nice till they outgrew it. So today I'm going to come up with another design, have a 55-gallon barrel. It should work really well for 2 pigs. I won't know till I get my next set of pigs in. I'm not sure when that's going to be. So here's the 55-gallon barrel that I had made it into a nipple drinker. Remember, I cut out the hole and put this bulkhead in here and had the nipple drinker on the end of it. But anyhow, I'm going to take this barrel and cut some holes in it and try to make a new slop feeder out of it. So y'all stay tuned. So what I plan on trying to do today is to cut 2 large diameter holes on either side of this bucket. It'll be big enough that 2 hogs can get in here and eat at the same time. I'm thinking about a 16 to 18 inch diameter hole. I'd like to make one cut across the top and another joining cut right here to form a lid out of it. I'm thinking I can put a hinge or 2 up top, be able to lift it up, drop in the feed or the slop, and then lower the lid. And be enclosed pretty well, so should keep most of the rain out of it. So let's get to work and see how this turns out. So I've taken about an 8-inch piece of string, tied a black Sharpie to one end, and then a sheetrock screw to the other. I should be able to sink that screw in just a little bit and go all the way around and trace out about a 16-inch hole, and I'll come back with my jigsaw and cut it out. I'll make 2 of those on either side. Sounds logical. Let's see how it works out in real life. It's kind of windy today, so y'all you may be catching some of that noise. I know I'd like to have the bottom of that hole, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches. So this is going to be sitting on the ground. So I don't want the hole right down close to it. Maybe that far up. So with that in mind, I know I'm going to have to put my screw at least here. And as long as I can cut around that bulkhead, I'll be able to save that. So of course the string has wrapped around the screw, but let's give this a try. I don't know, don't look like a perfect circle, but I think it'll do. Something's going terribly wrong here. I think what I have is an egg shape. So it's about 19 inches that direction and 18 that direction. And I guess by now you figured out why. Because this is not flat. It's actually curved, so it's gonna have that shape. Just checking to see if y'all know what's going on. That'll be a starter hole to get my jigsaw in. I'm not left-handed, so I better switcheroo. Alright, that's what I had in mind. Maybe a little larger than I had in mind. So I'll cut one over here on the other side to allow 2 openings for 2 hogs. So I'm thinking about where I have it right now is where I need it. Now my pins come untied. Excellent. You're doing great. Perfect. Let's go with that. You think that's going to be a sufficient amount of room between here? I'd like to have a little more, but there's no weight on this barrel. All we're doing is making 2 openings for 2 hogs to eat. So I think it'll do. All right, let me stand this thing up and we'll take another look at it. Okay, it don't look exactly like I had pictured in my brain, but it's similar. I've got two equal size openings for two hogs to get in and feed at the same time. It's, I don't know what I say, 5 inches up off the ground this opening is, so hopefully they won't kick a lot of mud and crap in there. I plan on feeding them from this side. This side will be inside the pen. The fence will be right here. So what I want to do is cut me out half the lid I can lift up, put the food in, and drop it back out. That way I don't have to get inside the pen to feed them. Alright, so I'm going to grab my Sharpie. Just kind of eyeball the line across here. So in the back side, that'll be the lid itself. And I'm just going to use the line on the barrel itself, follow it to make the lid. However, if you notice, I drew that on the wrong side. This is not the lid. This back here will be the lid. So I've got this line to cut, as well as one that goes across the top. I forgot to bring my jigsaw, so excuse me while I run and get it. Perhaps I'll need this drill as well. I'm actually not going to cut that all the way across yet. I'm going to place a few hinges on there. I made that harder than it should have been. So what I'm going to do is lay a couple hinges here. Probably pre-drill some holes before I make that final cut. That way I can get the hinges lined up. I've only got one with me, so I'm going to have to repurpose the one on the old hog feeder. So give me a few minutes to get that off and I'll be right back. At some point, I'll need to come back and clean this up, clean these burrs off, make sure there's no sharp edges anywhere that the pig might rub. So this is what I had in mind when I wanted to design a new slop trough. I wanted something that I could feed them from the outside of the pen, that way I didn't have to get in there with them. Something that would protect it from a lot of the weather, especially the rain, and plenty of room for them to get in, not be shoving each other around shoulder to shoulder, scrambling to get the food scraps. So it's also, hopefully it's high enough off the ground that a bunch of dirt and mud won't get in there with it. I appreciate y'all stopping by, watching this video, and I'll catch y'all next time at the It'll Do Homestead. Good night, everybody.